Welcome back to the Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, and this is your Cannabis Business Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about trade secrets, some intellectual property, and how to avoid being taken over or ripped off by employees, how to avoid employee theft. On the line with us is Dan Kimmis, our CBD correspondent with Good CBD Products.
I never really left, Kernick. I've been here the whole time, brother.
That's what I like to hear. Let's look at this MJ Business Daily report about how to tell if your cannabis business is a victim of employee theft and how to rectify that. A lot of the retail shops have a lot of compliance anyways behind security. We've seen some issues where there has been abduction and even murder in those rare cases, a lot of theft, and that's outside, right? And so we're looking at maybe, having been a bank manager, I can tell you that the majority of those cases are insider cases. Whether that's a trend or not, we'll find out. But with this MJ Business Daily article, they're just looking at anecdotal evidence about the declines in employee theft and the marijuana space. But it means that retailers have to play it safe. So the article goes in to say that, quote, especially because of employee theft in the marijuana sector has become covert. He's calling it wishful thinking to believe that employee theft is no longer a major concern in the industry. And so the experts are looking at issues such as your point of sale system can be your first line of defense. Should you be concerned about employee theft at all? Whether you have standard operating procedures to deal with that, how to tell if your workers are stealing, looking at red flags, and then nipping employee theft in the bud. Basically holding people accountable, managing them, and then having maybe a reward system or a whistleblower program.
Geez, this is a really nice opportunity to illustrate. So, in a normal business, if you're there and your employee steals a toaster, you lost some money, and you might, if they steal enough of your toasters, you might actually lose the business, right? You could actually, oh my God, I can't balance the books. What's happened? Oh my gosh, they stole a whole bunch of stuff. Okay. In the cannabis industry, okay, if your employee steals a bunch of stuff, you could also lose your license. Okay. You could lose your ability to actually do business. Okay. So a long time ago, one of the things I learned is this, if you can't trust your employees, you've already lost. Yeah. You got to maintain trust. That's the thing, because again, these kinds of businesses, if you start losing weed out the back door, you can lose the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah, that's the first thing on our Team Icon, an acronym that I coined, that if you follow Team Icon, you'll probably have the best group of employees, whether it's sales or otherwise. And Team Icon stands for trust your employees, empower, appreciate, mentor, involve, challenge, and keep them on a mission. If you follow those things, you will have the best set of employees. It's what's going to keep morale high. It's what's going to keep the people in cheeks and seats, as they say, but keep them happy. And so trust, empower, appreciate, mentor, involve, challenge, and keep them on a mission is Team Icon. And like you said, trust is the first thing on that list in order to have good employees and not have theft.
Yeah. And again, the complexity, right? Because let's face it, nobody comes to work on day one saying, yeah, I'm going to rip the boss off. Maybe they do. I don't know. But again, you would like to think not, right?
It's coming.
Yeah, I guess.
More common with IP. We know a couple IP lawyers. They're busier than ever. And so the Marijuana Venture magazine has trade secrets in cannabis that talks about intellectual property becoming increasingly important and how to kind of protect that. So this article goes in to say that trade secrets cases commonly play out in the context of employee departures, including poaching. Typically, an employer or group of employees leave one company for a competitor to start their own company and either launch or promise a suspiciously similar product. And so legal tools to protect secrecy include non-disclosure agreements and work for hire, non-compete clauses, at least where those clauses are legal, because litigating trade secrets disputes can be difficult and costly. However, cannabis companies should evaluate the potential for theft and the value of the secret information to decide what level of protections to employ, prioritizing the time and resources up front to develop safeguards to protect from theft or trade secrets can produce a long-term savings, end quote.
It's a hideous pop culture reference, but, Breaking Bad, right? That whole thing where just the process right? Just somebody seeing the process can be enough to literally take the company's secrets, right? I've dealt with some things in the industry where, the secret is the equivalent of it's a recipe, right? It's like the Colonel's recipe or like the Coke formula or something. And the secret, the only way you really protect it, you never even put it in a dang email. Okay, you can't. And you put it in a notebook and you put it in the safe, and you know that yourself and like one other dude has seen the secret, and you keep it that way, because if you don't, and so again, in this industry, that stuff's rampant. And how do you protect that? Old school.
And non-disclosure agreements are common, so common that I laugh. I don't even sign them half the time, even more than half the time, because they just aren't relevant. Somebody came to me and said, "Oh, I have this idea for Washington State. I have this, non-disclosure, non-compete, all this stuff." I'm like, "No, I'm not signing that." And then they ended up telling me anyways, and it was this idea of having a mobile bus where you could get on it and smoke. And that's laughable, because there's been 3, 4, or 5 companies in Washington alone for the last half decade that have come and gone. And so for this individual to not see or hear about those companies and think that they had a unique idea is funny. But we see that all the time. It's so you have to protect yourself, but you also have to know that quote, no one can steal your stupid fucking idea. Dale Rossi of the Founders Institute said that people could steal your idea, and they've stolen mine. It wasn't even my idea to have a co-working space with an incubator accelerator, but when I told this person about it in Washington, they went out, they ran, they did it, they opened it up, and they failed. It's because they can't steal my idea. They can't implement it the way I had, because they don't have my business plan. They don't have my ideas. And so you should just kind of speak freely, know that some people will try to do that. And on the flip side, half those people that think they have ideas don't.
Yeah, it's common in life. I've been there. I've been naive, right? I'm still naive. And at the same time, I was at a garden party not long ago where somebody told me about their invention, and, same deal, where you're just like, well, okay, you haven't even Google searched this, right? You haven't even sat down and just typed in, like in this case, was CBD gum. Okay. And again, I'm all for, making a fool out of yourself. Ooh, I thought of a better way. Okay. And at the same time, sit down, do your homework before you actually, because you'll bump into somebody who can help you. But, if you look like like you haven't done any study at all, the help that you'll get is go do some study, right? Instead of real help. Plus, chronic, old rule. You ready?
Yes.
Lawyers are expensive.
Lawyers are very expensive. There's a lot of people that want to file intellectual property patents and trademarks and everything. And, you kind of have to get up and running first, have a good idea, have it implemented, have some capital behind it. Absolutely necessary to have some money behind it. All of those things that we've seen kind of are missing one or another. One of the decks I saw recently is actually really cool, but when it was pitched to me 6 months ago, I ignored it entirely, thought it was kind of lame. And then when I found out more about it, I met the individual and I just told him flat out, I was like, your deck is terrible. I wasn't even interested. But now that I'm talking to you, we were on the same panel a couple months ago. And after he explained it to me, it made sense. I was like, wow, that's something I want. So maybe the intellectual property makes sense. It's really up to the business and how they're able to develop that. But ultimately, it's about capital. It's the only thing that's going to get you.
Well, yeah, and no lawyer is even more expensive, right? So the whole thing of, you're going to need them, but just recognize that when you need them, and understand that, again, getting all lawyered up with your brand new idea, do a Google search first.
Yeah, or keep coming back to the Talking Hedge, see if it makes sense. So with that, we're going to roll this one up. I'm Josh Kincaid. This is the Talking Hedge. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or don't, and I'm out.